Nuno Bettencourt's signature electric guitar, the Washburn N4, is really a unique and a special guitar. So let's talk about what are the features that make this guitar so special. I think it's an underrated guitar. Part of it because of Washburn as a brand. It's not as popular and famous as Fender, Gibson, PRS, ESP, LTD, and so on. But it's a special guitar. So let's talk about it. Before we start, a very important thing to keep in mind is that this guitar is an evolution of what Nuno Bettencourt built himself like 20-something years ago. So back in the day, he went and bought a body of a guitar, the neck, put it together, basically made a guitar out of it. And it's important to keep this point in mind because it explains a lot of the design choices and the features of this guitar. Let's talk about the feature that contributes most to the sound of this electric guitar. That's the pickups. Unlike a vast majority of electric guitars that have their pickups made from the same brand, neck, middle, and the bridge, this guitar actually has two sets of humbuckers from totally different brands, right? So it has the Simmer Duncan 59 at the neck, and it has a Bill Lawrence L500 at the bridge. You don't see that often, even in signature guitars. And the reason for this pickup config is that back in good old days when Nuno was building the guitar that I told you about earlier, Nuno took that guitar to a friend's place who owned a guitar shop and asked them to install the pickups. They didn't have the two pickups that he wanted to put on the guitar, so they put the Bill Lawrence pickup in the bridge position. This not only has made this guitar unique in that sense, it tells me a lot about Washburn as a company, the way they're willing to work with their artists, because commercially speaking, this is not a viable thing to do, right? The easiest thing to do is to get two of the exact same type of pickups, not the same brand, two exact same types at both the neck and the bridge, because if you don't make your pickups yourself, you're ordering from somebody else, you're going to get bulk discounts. So you order in more quantities, you pay less per item. Pretty simple. And if you make those pickups yourself, you have to go through less hassle of, research and development and making a different kind. You just can't put that one thing that you've gotten to work and then put it both at the neck and the bridge. Also, when it comes to the implementation of that, you don't have any other considerations when it comes to the differences in the pickups. It's just the same thing. You put it in there. Now, if you got an electric guitar that has the exact same two pickups, doesn't mean that it's a bad guitar. PRS core models, Custom 24s, have 8515 pickups both at the neck and the bridge. One of the best guitars ever made. But this guitar is unique in that sense. Now let's go to another factor that influences the final sound of your electric guitar, but to a much less degree than your pickup. That is the tone wood. Unlike a lot of other high-priced US-made electric guitars, that the emphasis for the body wood is usually mahogany maple, this guitar is made out of alder. Keep in mind that tone wood does have an impact, but very little, especially comparing to the pickups and the amp and so on. But if you compare alder with mahogany, alder is a little bit more brighter, a little higher on the higher frequencies. Comparing it with mahogany, that is a heavier and a densely grained wood, which contributes to its sound being, a little bit more rounder, a little bit more full in the mid-ranges. But the neck wood is maple. And it is bolt-on, which brings us to another design decision that impacts the final sound. That is a bolt-on neck body joint. Guys, there's three types of neck body joints in electric guitars predominantly. You have the bolt-on neck, which means the neck is screwed to the body. You have the set neck, which means that your neck is glued to the body, very commonly in Les Pauls. And you have a scenario where it's called the neck through, where the neck and the middle bit of the body of the guitar are of the same wood. So it's just one wood. And then two wings come in from either side and connect to it and make the body of the guitar. Depending on how your neck is connected to the body, it does have a slight impact on the final sound output. For example, if you have a neck through design, those guitars tend to have a better sustain if the neck joint is the only differentiating factor. But going back to N4, this guitar has a bolt-on neck. The presence of the screws and the discontinuation in the wood, when you screw the neck to the body like that, what it does, it creates a bit of a twangy sound in your electric guitar. That's why that's one of the reasons why Stratocasters have such a nice twang. So the thing that the neck body joint and also the tone wood is telling me is that the goal of this guitar, like when they created this guitar, one of the goals was to make sure that this guitar has a really good high frequency sound. Another special feature here, talking about the neck body joint, is that this guitar, if you notice, is a little different comparing to your standard bolt-on electric guitars. One of the differences is that it doesn't have a neck heel, and there are some additional curvatures here, and the organization of the screws is not like in a square shaped, two up, two down. It's curved like this. This is what's known as Stevens extended cutaway. Stephen Davies, the designer of this unique neck body config, was a master luthier at Washburn Guitars. And the philosophy behind it was that if you remove the neck heel, you'll provide more space, more room for the guitarist. You know what I mean? Like, you have now more freedom down there to reach the higher notes. So if you remove the neck heel now, you're taking part of the support of the neck away. Your neck is going to be less stable. So to mitigate for that lack of support and to make sure that the guitar is stable, what he's done is that he's brought the neck in on a slightly wider surface, and then this extra piece of wood is left there and it is glued to the fretboard, and now you've got that extra bit that provides additional stability for the neck. You have the best of both worlds. In a way, you don't have any heel on the guitar neck, so it's easy to move around, but also you're not losing on stability. When you look at almost every other bolt-on guitar, you'll notice that there is a heel there, and this is unique in this sense. So we talked about the unique pickup config, we talked about tone wood, and the unique bolt-on neck that it has, Stevens extended cutaway neck. The next really interesting thing about this guitar is the placement of the pickup switch. So if you have a look at the pickup switch here, it is placed on the horn and not near the volume knob, right? This guitar, guys, by the way, does not have a tone knob, so it's only got the volume knob there. But the pickup selector is close to the horn and not the wing, not the knobs there. Usually you have it either there, or for example, in case of Les Pauls, you have it somewhere up here. But with this guitar, it's on the bottom horn, which is, again, pretty interesting. So these are some of the features that are really unique in this electric guitar, and you don't see it out there every day. There are a couple other things about this guitar that got me a little surprised, but it doesn't have that much of an impact in terms of the playability or the sound. For example, this guitar has this weird Floyd Rose thing going on here where the 6 strings screw here is a totally different one comparing to the other ones. And the other interesting feature here is that the tuners are not all of the same kind, similar to the pickups, I guess, in a way. We have this mix of Goda and Grover tuners there, so it's mixed. Again, I wonder where it came from. And lastly, and very interestingly, this guitar has only 22 frets. It's not a 24 fretted guitar, and I was a little surprised about that too. And it's not really the end of the world, right? Going from 22 frets to 24 is just 2 notes. So to put it all together, the unique pickup configuration, Seymour Duncan 59 at the neck, and you got your L500s in the bridge, your Stevens extended cutaway range, that neck body bolt-on joint, the choice of tone wood, using alder for the body, the weirdness of the tuners, and what's going on in the Floyd Rose, and all of that combined together makes this guitar really, really unique and special. So, would I buy the authentic US-made N4? Ah, you bet. It's an exciting electric guitar. It's an interesting, unique electric guitar. I might have to save some money first for a while, but if I can afford it and I can get my hands on one, I'll definitely buy it. It's an interesting guitar. And that's about it. I hope this video broadened your perspective on electric guitars, because it so did to mine. And with that said, thanks so much for hanging out. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourself.